What's up, you guys? Joe Dobby here, back at it again with another deck kind of like discussion. And this is a little bit different. I'm kind of just advocating or promoting Mastemon play in BT10. I'm going to go over some reasons why, what makes Mastemon potentially good into this meta, and some of the weaknesses and strengths per some of the matchups that you might be encountering in BT10. So we're just going to get it started here, starting off with the key rookies in Mastemon decks. Access to Psychmon and Gazimon, playing 4 of each and stopping there is really huge for the deck. Just being able to have something that prevents your opponent's memory gains, can stop memory boosts as your opponents are, searching for cards, for materials. Gazimon can also stop the highly anticipated Minervamon loop deck, or at least slow it down until you can kind of get to your win condition, which is really good. Same thing goes for Psychmon. BT10, we're introducing kind of like the cross mechanic where you can hard play a Digimon and reduce its play cost based on some of the cards that you put underneath its sources. So Psychmon can significantly reduce the speed of that as well, which is pretty good. Next, we've got security threats. So nothing is better than seeing pain through security. Chaos degradation, in my opinion, apart from Alphamon where Kongu is in effect, or D-Brigade where Kongu might be in effect, Chaos degradation is pretty much one of the best removal cards that we have that can trigger from security. I love this card. I've seen success with it so many times, and I'm sure a lot of you have as well. Flame Hell Scythe combos very well with Mastemon, because not only can you potentially delete a Digimon by reducing the DP by 6k, you can also play a Digimon yellow-purple that's 6k DP or less, get the value out of those Digimon that are played, and then delete the same level through Mastemon's effect if Mastemon is on the board. So you're popping 2 bodies with this, which is really good. Or you are potentially killing 1 body with Flame Hell Scythe alone by reducing its DP in, say, like an Armor Rush. We're probably not going to see Armor Rush next set, but just a good overall card. And Omnimon Zwart Defeat is super powerful, as always, because it can delete Tamers when it digivolves over Mastemon. In addition to that, it combos with Mastemon, because when it comes out of security, Mastemon's, I think, all turns effect would trigger, where you can actually delete a level 7 or lower, because it is the same level as Omnimon Zwart D when it comes out of security. So really good threats there. Lucemon Chaos Mode is a very strong card. Minervamon Loop, I think, should be playing this card, in my opinion, because you can pretty much play this card from your hand, reducing its play cost by 3 for every 10 cards in your trash. So late game, you can probably get Lucemon Chaos Mode down to 5 cost. But the idea here with Maste is you're actually playing it for free, which is really good. And then you can delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon, or one of your opponent's Tamers. Now, if your opponent has Tamers, they're going to have a lot of Tamers, most of them, if they're going to be playing Crossheart, for example. However, they're going to put sources underneath these Tamers, right? They're most likely going to be putting it underneath the red Tamer. Can't really recall off the top of my head what his name was, but if you can delete that Tamer and there are materials under that, they're probably never going to see those materials again, which is a very big play. So if you've got the skill check and you are wise enough to know when to play this card, as opposed to like recovering instead, that is a huge boon to the deck as a pilot. In addition to that, it's your bridge to another level 6. It's another Jogger's target. So if you've got a Gatomon sitting in raising, you can easily raise it next turn. And Chaos Mode being at 12k DP is pretty good against Sunrise Buster, for example, especially if you've got Mastemon out on the board already. That's a total of 25k DP. So I don't know how many Tamers that takes. I think that's at least like 7-8 Tamers, because I think Sunrise Buster is only minus 3k DP per Tamer. So very good card overall. So matchup number 1 against Shoutmon decks. I'm using Shoutmon X5 as an example because this is probably what people are gonna try at first, because it's got like security attack +1, etc, etc. So really good card. Chaos Degrade is really good because it stops the material save, because you're not deleting Shoutmon, you're actually throwing it into security, so all the materials underneath just actually gets trashed. So very, very good. Jogress effect of Mastemon can play a level 5 and it deletes a matching level 5 on your opponent's board when played. So if that Shoutmon lives for those 2 checks, which is already an ordeal in itself against Mastemon, you can answer by deleting it by, you know, triggering Mastemon's effect. Recover via Magna Angemon. So you can recover with Magna Angemon early as opposed to playing a Lucemon as your opponent is kind of setting up. And I think that that's pretty powerful because Shoutmon's going to try to rush you down, but the more you can cycle your recovery pieces, the more you can recover, you're adding more threats that they'll have to answer once they've done their early checks, right? If they hit Zort Defeat early, if they're hitting high DP Digimon early, and you're going to have quite a few of them, if they're hitting removal early, etc. These are all good things. And Psychmon, once again, huge counter to this deck, so pretty good. In addition to that, there's also Tamer deletion that we've spoken about earlier with Omnimon Zort Defeat and Lucemon Chaosmon. So matchup 2, we're going into Minervamon Loop deck. So Mastemon's strengths against this deck is really the Minervamon combo disruption. So Minervamon's going to want to combo, it's going to want to delete itself, etc. Through Chaos Degradation and Flame Hellscythe. Minervamon will most likely swing before it is deleted via Revive from Darkness. So if it hits a Chaos Degradation, there goes the entire plan, right? The on-deletion effect does not trigger, and you are just, getting rid of that potential entirely. And in addition to that, Flame Hellscythe does a really good job of deleting, Cerberusmons before they actually get to play the Rush Cerberusmon, right? So for example, you're triggering the on-deletion, you're playing a Cerberusmon, whatever, you're triggering its effect, what have you. Depending on the timing of that, you could potentially remove a bridge to a Cerberusmon werewolf mode. It's going to be a little tricky to do that, but you could possibly do it, which I like. Also, you can out-recover their plays, right? Because they have to set up, and as they're setting up, they're drawing and trashing. They're cycling, in my opinion, pretty quick versus your deck. Unless you're recovering like crazy, playing Meikus like crazy. They're probably going to see more of their deck, and if they don't win outright, you could possibly just play out to deck out. Zort Defeat Lucemon disruption is always huge here. Having Mastemon out on the board, Minervamon might struggle to answer that, especially if Mastemon stays unsuspended. They're going to have enough memory to play what could be their only Zort Defeat out, which is, the only Zort Defeat in their deck. So that's quite an ordeal to keep turn, because then you've got to get to 6 memory. I don't think Minervamon Loop decks will be running like win rates or whatnot. They might throw in 1 or 2 copies, but it's going to be an ordeal. And I don't think they can actually outright delete Mastemon in that regard too, because Mastemon's a 13k DP. So yeah, it's going to be hard to out Mastemon against this deck, and I think there's some potential here. Gazimon is also a huge counter. I really don't mind dropping Flame Hellscythe just for the ability to bring out Gazimon and maybe kill like a promote or something, and then all of a sudden there goes your game plan to Jack Raid. You've got to find a way to delete it, which is pretty good. Matchup 3, I threw this in because I've got knowledge against this deck, so I thought I'd throw it in. I don't know how much Jesmon GX is going to see play, but as long as Mastemon stays unsuspended, you've got big value, because they're going to be trying to swing either at your suspended Digimon early, getting piercing, getting their checks in. But if they hit a Zort Defeat, that's big value, because Zort Defeat plus Mastemon equals bye-bye level 7. Lucemon targets 2 Digimon with Mastemon. So that's pretty good because you're popping Sistermon after Sistermon. They're gonna get a bunch of Sistermons for free here, let's be real. Flame Hell Scythe can delete a Sistermon. With a Mastemon, if you play a level 5, you can delete another Sistermon off that, so that's pretty good. The only thing you really have to be aware of here is the Savior Hawkmon that allows you to kind of, when Digivolve, swing over unsuspended Digimon, because if they can turbo up and get that blitz, they might be able to swing over your Mastemon. So a way to kind of beat that is to anticipate when they're going into their GX looking to swing over your Maste. So if you're a bit quicker than they are, you're probably going to get there, and then all you have to do is go into the Zwart defeat, and I'm pretty sure they don't have much protection against on deletion effects, so you can probably out the Jesmon with Zwart defeat, or at least prevent it from swinging into that stack. And then you've got what essentially is just this tower Zwart D that can swing into Jesmon later on and kind of trigger effects that way. The big four will probably still see play. We've got the Black War Greymon, aka Gaiamon, because that's going to delete Tamers, that's going to delete materials against Crossheart. Gaiamon, Black War Greymon is just a really good deck. Honestly, if I had the pieces, I'd be playing this deck competitively because he's just a super cool Digimon and very strong. Alphamon or Yukon, it's a lot of these decks, the big four is basically like, can you get to your Chaos Degrade and your Zwart defeat in security? Also, can you protect your Mastemon? I know that's an ordeal, but usually, unless Alphamon, for example, or Gaiamon are able to Congo you the turn they go for game, Chaos Degrade will pretty much out their ability to win. But then again, it's a tough ordeal to ask for cards like this to end up in your security, so you're just gonna have to play it out and see. Also, passing them to a bunch of memories is gonna suck. However, if you are going first and you do have the Gato, I think Gato is the smart play, or at least a Mako or an Analog Youth. That way you're seeing your pieces super early. With Gato, you're potentially seeing, you know, Joggers pieces, so you can Joggers immediately, which is really good. And then you've got advantage on board state. Grandis Quagamon, you are actually, I think... Okay, so this is very security. It just boils down to security here. If you've got Chaos Degrades, one Chaos Degrade could totally screw over Grandis's plays. So I do like this matchup. I don't actually hate this matchup because I find myself being able to cycle security a lot quicker. Melgarumon X Antibody, same thing. Like, Mastemon's gonna bring out a lower level Digimon. Flame Hell Scythe will bring out lower level Digimon. And deleting the Digimon around X Antibody's stack. So, you know, you can potentially Flame Hell Scythe, delete a level 4, play Magna. You know, when the Metal Gurumon X unsuspends, it'll bounce the Magna to your hands. You can Magna again, which is pretty nice. And once again, it is outed by Chaos Degrades or Defeat, especially if you've got Mastemon and it can't be removed. So, best advice here is to really just learn the matchups well. And if you've been playing Mastemon since the structure deck came out, you probably have quite a bit of experience with these matchups. So hopefully you'll pull out some wins. Study your own deck in game, right? Like, while you're in the game, use your TK, use your Mastemon Joggers effect to understand what is in your security. Look at what's in your hand versus your trash. That is where Mastemon shines. It's in a skilled pilot that understands the probability of seeing removal in your security versus not seeing removal in your security and adjusting your play based off that. So I think it is especially so in decks like Mastemon. So, you know, learn your deck however way you build it, and you should be fine. Notable mentions here are Imperial Dramon and however that's played, because there's always going to be a rushy Imperial Vmon fanboy player, and that's awesome, right? I love Imperial as well. I love how rushy the deck is. Like, I've grown to respect it, so it's really good. But you can definitely play around Imperial here. Chaos Degrade pretty much makes it struggle, and if they can't out your Mastemon on the board, a Flame Hell Scythe will delete potential Joggers targets, which is really good. The Decker Greymon, or that archetype, unfortunately I have insufficient data on, so this is something you're gonna have to probably practice on your own. And let me know in the comment section how good Mastemon is against this kind of like blue flare deck. If it struggles, let me know too, because I'd love to learn. And same thing goes for Bloom Lordmon. Let me know how that deck or that matchup goes upon release if you are one of the few that will be continuing Mastemon moving into BT10. But that said, we're going to show you a very brief kind of like baseline list. Threw this together in essence how I would probably play Mastemon. Ophanimon Loop is also a really good deck if you are worried that you are passing too much memory. That is one of the weaknesses that Mastemon has. It's potentially, if you're bricking, you're passing too much memory per turn, which could gain more advantage for your opponents, which is why the security effects, all that stuff really matters in this deck. So in that regard, pivoting to Ophanimon Loop base could be the play. That said, I think Mastemon has potential. You can even find ways to play Ordinimon. I think Ordinimon is a good option as well. I just find Zort Defeat kind of just my go-to level 7 because of the effect that it has with Mastemon and the Tamer deletion and the self-deletion leading to a immediate value somehow, some way. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all learned something new. Let me know in the comments below when BT10 comes out, you know, how your Mastemon has been playing against the BT10 meta. Love to hear more from you guys, and like and subscribe if you can. Take it easy. Bye.